All right, so you have a school project that you are wanting to type on a Google Docs. Here are all of the very basics on how to get started for that. So the first thing you're going to see is that I do not have a title for my document. The first thing I'm going to want to do is give it a title so I can find it and remember where it is. If you're sharing this document with someone, maybe a friend or a teacher, you want to make sure that's a title they can recognize too. Maybe put your name in it or the name of you and your friend in it. If this is just a document you're keeping for yourself, just name anything that you'll make sure you can remember. I'm going to call this one All About Bunnies. Once you have your title in, you can just click off and see it'll save your title and it'll save your document in Drive. Well, now I want to start typing, but before I start typing, I want to show you a few things that are in Google Docs. See this number right here? That's called the font size. Font is the text or the thing you're going to be writing. So this tells you how big or small the words you're going to type is. Let's go on 8 and type words. See how small that is? Then if I go to 72, see how much bigger that is? So that'll tell you how big it is. If you're typing for something for school, most things you're going to type are going to be around, you want 12-point font. But pay attention. Lots of teachers have a certain number that they want you to do. So pay attention to what your teacher says. But if she says what size font, she's talking about this number right here. Next thing I want you to pay attention to is the font type. This is Arial. There's lots of different fonts you can do to make your words look really cool. And you can see right here, like this one will make it look a little slanted. This one will look like it might be from a comic book or something. This one will be more bold. This one is kind of a cursive. And so you want to pick a font that's good for school. Usually ones that are good for school would be Arial and Times New Roman. I'm going to do mine in Times New Roman. A lot of teachers like their papers to be in Times New Roman. So make sure you pick one that your teacher will be okay with. All right. So the first thing you're going to want to do anytime you're writing or typing a report is to make sure it has a good title. Now when we're writing, we usually put the title in the top in the middle, right? So let me show you how to do that on a computer. So see these little buttons right here? See how this one says left align? That makes my cursor align to the left. Left like this. All the words are on the left. Well, what happens if I click this button? What do you think will happen? Let's see. Center like this. See how all my words are in the center? It's lining them up in the center. Now, what would happen if I click this one? What do you think is going to happen? It's going to go to the right. That's called aligning your text. We're going to talk about this one later. But what do you think? Which one are we going to want to use for the title? Probably this center one. My title is going to be All About Bunnies. All right, I did my title in all caps like I'm supposed to. Now you might want to leave your title just like that, or you might want to make it a little fancy. Sometimes teachers like you to bold your title or underline them. Sometimes they don't want you to do that. Make sure you're doing what's right for your teacher. Now, one thing while I'm here I wanted to talk to you about is a lot of my students like to play around with different colors of your fonts. If you're turning in a paper for school, unless your teacher said to do it in another color, always go ahead and do it in black. But I do want to show you what these will do. So if I click blue, my words will turn blue. But again, school projects, we're going to keep them in black unless your teacher said otherwise to do something different. Always follow your teacher's instructions. Okay, so now I want to start typing my text. The first thing I want to do is I want to hit that enter button. Now, notice some things. When I start writing my paper, I don't want it to be in the center of my paper. I want it to be on the left. So what do you think I'm going to do? Left align. Sometimes with my students, I play a game where I say, make the cursor go to the left, and then the right, and then the center. So if you're not used to that, you can play around making your cursor dance, is what we call it. Making cursor dance is really fun. All right, so now notice this too. See how the B and the U are kind of highlighted in blue? That means when I start typing, it's going to be underlined in bold. I don't want that for my regular text. You don't want to do that for a school paper. So I'm going to click those off. All right, so now I want to start typing a paragraph. Now you've learned in school, right, that you need to indent your paragraph. Do you know how to do this on a computer? There's lots of really cool ways. One simple way is just hitting the space bar until it is indented as much as you need it to be. But this can get annoying because you got to press it several times, so there's a lot of shortcuts. The one I like, whoops, and sometimes if you go back, you'll have to undo all of that again. The one I like to teach my students is look on your keyboard and you'll see a word that says tab, T-A-B. Press that key and it'll indent magically for you, just like that. To undo it, you just hit backward space, and if it comes undo, you can hit tab. Make your cursor dance a little with the backspace and tab buttons. Do 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 do. That's always fun to play around with. All right, the last way that's my favorite way, and it's kind of more advanced to indent, is see this little ruler on the top of your screen? And this shows the part of your paper you're going to be writing in. See that little top blue square at the very top? Go ahead and pick that up and move it. So it says 0.5, because most teachers want you to have the indent of a 1/2 inch. If your teacher says something different, then move it to what she says. Now, as I am writing, it indents for me, and it will do that for every paper I have right here. Now, if the little triangle comes with it, that'll indent all the words, and you don't want that. So make sure you just have the little square. If you accidentally drag the triangle and the square like that, just pick them up and put them back, and then pick up only the square. Or this is what I did earlier when I was practicing. If you grab this whole thing, again, no problem. Just put it back, and then grab your little thing like that. Now remember, the undo button is always your friend. This is called the undo button. If you make a mistake, just boop, click the undo button, and it'll go back to normal. If you accidentally hit the undo button, you can just hit the redo button, and it'll go back like you had before. All right, now you just type your paragraph as normal. All right, so now I've written a nice little paragraph. But notice something. See how I have a red line on this word? A red line means I spelled a word wrong. When I click on this word, it'll give me a suggestion. Now, always pay very close attention to this suggestion and make sure that it is the word you want to type. Sometimes it will suggest a different word than what you want to type, so always be prepared. Know how to spell the words, have a dictionary if you need to, but make sure it is the right one. Speaking of right one, look at this sentence right here. I am just showing you how it would look like if you write one. Well, that's the word right, and it's spelled correctly. But that's not the word right that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the word right, like write a paragraph. See this blue line? This blue line means I have something wrong with grammar or the language of how I'm writing it. So sometimes blue lines will come up if they think I need a comma or something like that. Now, the blue lines can be very, very helpful, but always remember to double check with what you know, because sometimes they'll be wrong. So click on that right there, and it'll make a suggestion. And again, think about it like, that is the correct right. I want to use this right, and then I'll change it. All right, so I have given you a whole lot of suggestions and tips in this one video. I hope it will help you as you are writing reports for school. Have fun and have a great day.